So we both agreed that...
Two-faced.
I'm not starting this video again.
It's fine. Oh my god.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the
classic. Time.
Hey everybody, I'm back with Jetty. The main reason that she's in this video is because I wanted an unbiased opinion. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're ranking all 6 of the Arctic Monkeys albums from worst to best. And because I like everything that they've ever done, it wouldn't have been fair for me to rank them all. So I've been driving Jenny mad playing Arctic Monkeys for a couple of days. And her opinion has really helped me construct a list of what ones are the best and which ones aren't as great. That's not to say they have a bad album. It's just saying that some of them are a bit weaker and not as consistent as the rest. But she has been a great help in helping me prepare for this video. She even dolled herself up for you guys especially. But yeah, she's just been a great help in preparing for this video. Because if you're a regular viewer to the channel, you already know, or well, if you're a long time viewer of the channel, you already know that I'm a huge Arctic Monkeys fan. They are my favourite band. I'm just a major Arctic Monkeys fan, and it's really, it really has been my biasness that would have prevented me from doing this video. But thanks to Jenny, yeah, she's really helped me. So I think we're each gonna share our opinion on these albums, aren't we?
Yeah.
From what we listened to, because there's one that you weren't paying attention to, so you don't remember it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to this ranking list because we're 3 minutes in and we still haven't started on the list. So let's get into it. We both agreed that the worst Arctic Monkeys album, and I will go on record to say that my opinion on this album has changed massively over time. Like, there was a time when I liked it a lot. That's Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, their most recent album. With this album, what they did was they actually took a 5-year hiatus before putting this out. And during the whole process, Alex Turner, the lead singer, he was going through a bit of a writer's block where he could come up with half a song but couldn't finish them, and he was writing it on the guitar, and then he took a little break and started writing this album on the piano, and he was able to put this album together. And I think that's why it's not as good as the rest, because it's very different sounding. It sounds a lot like his side project, The Last Shadow Puppets, their most recent album from 2016. And a lot of fans, it really did take a lot of fans by surprise, because they didn't put out any singles before releasing this. They literally dropped the album.
I bet you're all like, what the?
And Arctic Monkeys fans were either really liked it or really hated it, or people that aren't Arctic Monkeys fans of their other 5 albums, they might have really liked this.
Yeah, a conflict in interest.
It's their most divisive album because of just the way it sounds, and there's really only a few songs on here that stand out. The title track, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, 4 out of 5, which is the lead single of this, but again, they didn't release any songs off of this before it came out, so fans were expecting it to sound like their previous work, and when it didn't, fans either really loved it or really hated it. I remember in 2018 really ranking this album quite high. I probably wouldn't anymore, because I've listened to it again and I do not like it as much as I used to. I think it was just because I was at the hype of a new Arctic Monkeys album. Yeah. But I definitely don't like this album as much as the rest.
I mean, I agree, it's not the best. It's definitely different. I don't think I've ever really heard anything like that.
No, I mean, here's the thing with Alex Turner always manages somehow to fit loads of sci-fi references into his music, and this is a very sci-fi influenced album.
Yeah.
The only problem is, listening to the album digitally or on vinyl, I don't like it. Listening to it live, however, I really enjoyed it. So I don't know what's going on there, but the songs on this album do sound really different live. I will say that they sound a lot heavier, a lot rockier. But for me, I just don't connect with this album as much as I did when it first came out. I still really like the band a lot. This album will not be the one I go to the most, but if I need something that's sort of chilled and Arctic Monkeys-esque, I'll go for this one. I'll still listen to it because it's Arctic Monkeys, but it's definitely not going to be the one I pull to listen to the most. But the cover's cool. They've always got really cool covers, except for one. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
I love the back.
The back cover's pretty cool as well. Yeah, I don't know if I showed it off, but there it is. And it pains me to say that they have an album that I don't like, because I'll support them no matter what. But
Little Mix have an album that I don't like.
my favourite group's Little Mix. Just thought I'd say that.
And even they have an album I don't like. So there are times where
There are times when you don't like your favourite band. I get it.
I don't know, I wouldn't go that far. There are times when you don't like something they've put out.
Yeah. I mean, I did like it when it came out.
Brutal.
I did like that album when it came out. So, my opinions, my ear from that album's obviously changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But there we go. Okay. 5th place is Humbug by Arctic Monkeys. The only album with them on the actual cover.
Yeah.
Again, there was a point. I would like to point out that all 5 of these next albums that we're going to talk about, at one point or another, one of them has been my favourite album by them. At one point or another, and a couple of years ago, it was this one. Again, not their strongest album. Yeah, that's right. My Propeller, Cornerstone, Crying Lightning, and Pretty Visitors are the songs that I really enjoyed on this album. It's not the strongest. It's sort of that when they transition from the more heavier rocky sound to that more chilled sound. It's sort of in the middle, because the first half of the album, very heavy, very old Arctic Monkeys sounding, and then the second half is very new Arctic Monkeys sounding. And I think that's why this album is generally overlooked. Still a good album in my opinion. I still like it a lot, but as far as it goes, it's this far down on the list, because generally outside of the song Cornerstone and My Propeller and Crying Lightning, because they're all the singles off this album, I genuinely don't remember a lot of this album.
And that writing, that is such cool writing.
That is really cool writing on the back. Look at that. You can tell they've really put the effort in for that.
I do like the some songs on this album, but I do like that overall. I'm not really an Arctic Monkeys kind of girl. They're just not my vibe.
4th. And this one really hurts, because this is my favourite Arctic Monkeys album. Favourite Worst Nightmare. It's my personal favourite from them. It's got a lot of great songs. Brainstorm, Teddy Pickup, Balaclava, Fluorescent Adolescent, Do Me a Favour,
Days of Dangerous,
Old Yellow Bricks. But overall, comparing it to the rest of their albums, there are a couple of songs on here that just do not fit in with the album. Like the song Only Ones You Know. That song just does not fit with the overall vibe of this album. And for that reason, it has to go in 4th, even though it is my favourite project from them.
It was very, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it was pretty, it just wasn't, I don't know. I have to be captivated by songs, like, they have to be like, oh yeah, that's great, but like, that just wasn't it for me. Like, you know, when you get some of those songs that are like, oh yeah, this is a vibe, or like, this is just utter crap. Like, it was not utter crap, but Like, I just didn't like it.
I do agree. This album is definitely slower than a little bit slower, and there are a couple of songs that don't fit in with the rest of the album. But as far as it goes, it's still my favorite. I just don't think it's their. I'm going to be brutally honest and say it's. I don't think it is their best. But that's why it's in fourth, and that's why this list was really hard to construct. Otherwise, this would probably be a lot higher on the list. In third place, and this album was not originally going to be this high, but I was listening to it and I was just remembering how good this album was, and that's "Suck It and See," an album I generally forget outside of maybe a few songs like "Black Treacle," "Don't Sit Down Because I've Moved Your Chair," and "Reckless Serenade." Them songs are all around my favourites, but as an album, it's very, very consistent, and it just keeps that vibe going. And it's a very strong album from them. It's just because successfully it didn't change a whole lot for them. But yeah, this one, you don't remember listening to this one. This was the one that was on in the background when we were playing Call of Duty.
I can kind of remember something. Does that make sense? But I don't fully remember what it was.
All I know is this album is a lot higher on the list than I originally anticipated, just because it's that damn good of an album. Like, they don't put a foot wrong.
It's a bit plain and boring.
Yeah, that's the cover I was talking about. But they usually have pretty interesting covers. This is the only one.
I literally wouldn't pick that up just because of how boring that is. I wouldn't bother picking that up. If I was looking for vinyls and stuff, that just wouldn't be the one that I would pick up out of like the rest of their albums. That would be the one I wouldn't pick up because like that's just boring and I don't know.
Yeah, I only did pick it up because it was Arctic Monkeys. That's literally the only reason I picked it up. The cover would not have sold me at all if I did not know it was Arctic Monkeys.
I mean, they really tried hard on that cover, didn't they?
1 and 2 were really difficult to decide because both albums are both very different sounding, both at very different times in their career, and both had very, very different success. I think this album's at number 2. And this album seems to be more popular with the fans of today.
Yeah.
Generally because I did a video a few weeks ago on albums you see in every record collection, and this album was in it. It's AM, and it's the song "Do I Want to Know" that you really liked.
Yeah. The
song that got me into them, and literally there's some heavy songs on this album.
I liked Arabella.
And there's some really chilled songs on this album. Arabella's a great song. I'm glad you said that. And then Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High? Another great song. Very catchy.
That's definitely the one.
Well, Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High?
Yes, I remember it. That is the exact one.
Brum, brum, brum,
yeah.
Brum, brum,
yeah.
Brum, that thing.
Yeah. That is it.
Not Dangerous Animals.
No, it's that.
Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, Dangerous Animals did catch me, but that.
Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High? A great song. It's only what, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, it's not a very long video.
It's not a very long song.
Is it?
The music video is great.
I meant to say song.
Yeah, no, the music video is great. I listened to it, and there's some songs on here that maybe could be put on their other albums, and it could still be a different feel like it's the same album. Mad Sounds, for example, and I Want to Be Yours. They're very, very chilled songs that really in my opinion, don't really deserve I mean, they'd still deserve a place on this album because it's still a great album in my opinion. And the album that kind of introduced a lot of people to them. I mean, they were able to take a 5-year hiatus off the strength of this. So, I mean, they did something right with this album.
I mean, the cover is definitely not my favourite, but I do like it. It's definitely cool. It looks like, I don't know what I was saying. It looks like, you know when you're in hospital and you see your heartbeat, and it just goes like that. The heartbeat monitor thing. It's like that, doesn't it? I just think that's
I
quite
think
cool.
it is meant to represent sound waves.
That's what I was looking for. Sound wave.
But yeah, very, very good album. Still the album that I have a soft spot for because it introduced me to him, but it is definitely not my favourite. Without Jenny's unbiased opinion, it would be a lot lower on my list.
Would it?
It would, just because it's not my favourite, but it is still the album that introduced me to him. But I still love this album to pieces. Right!
I can't believe that. The minute I heard you say that, I was like, that's the song!
That's it! I found it!
Yay! I can listen to it!
Yeah.
I actually really like that song. I would genuinely just put that on out of nowhere. That was a great song.
The album that we both agreed on to be number one.
It's
And
the best album.
it's her. She thinks it's the best album. I definitely think it's their most successful album.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Their most consistent album. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. I had to read the spine because I do get it wrong from time to time. But it's a very long album name. This is very different to the rest of their albums because the rest of their albums are sort of indie rock type of. Would fall into that indie rock genre. This falls in under post-punk revival.
Yeah.
I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor is a song that was massive, and as soon as that song came on at the gig, there were beers flying up in the air and people were mosh pitting left and right. The View from the Afternoon's a great song. Dancing Shoes, Fake Tales of San Francisco, Mardy Bum, another great song. When the Sun Goes Down, another great song. This is their debut, and it's the biggest selling debut album from a British band of all time. At the time, it was the biggest selling album of all time. Oh yeah, and I did forget to talk about something with AM as well. The album, this one, they did win 4 Brits from this album.
Did they?
So anyway, back to whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. I think they could have done a bit harder with the cover.
Yeah, just him stoking, isn't it?
It's not even the lead singer. It's not a member of the band. It's just a random guy smoking.
Oh.
This, I think, is to do with one of the music videos. Or there is some significance behind it. I haven't really looked into it too much. There's a point in time when this was not my favourite. I do think it's the most consistent, but it's the one I've definitely listened to the least out of all their albums. So if it was without Jenny's help, this would have been probably at the bottom or near the bottom of this list. But I do agree, I do think it's their best album. Despite what I think, personally, unbiasedly, I think it's their best album.
I literally only have one thing to say, and it's like a recurring thing, which is why I'm going to say it now. Because, like, I don't like bands and artists that don't use themselves for their front cover.
I'm not going off the cover. I'm going off how successful this album was when it came out. I'm going off how consistently good the album is. The cover, yeah, I don't like the cover either, but I do think it is their most consistent and their best album. With all that said and done, guys, we're finished. That's all 6 of their albums. Jenny, thanks so much for being back on my channel.
It's alright.
I really needed your help for this video, so thanks again for listening to all the Arctic Monkeys albums with me. Drive you mental, probably, but that's it. So guys, thanks so much for tuning back into the channel. If you're new here, subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Me and Jenny have a joint channel that we upload to, what, 3 or 4 times a week when we can? Maybe 2-3 times a week when we can. So go over there, subscribe. Not a lot of music related stuff on there, just general fun videos that we can both take part in.
They're mainly vlogs.
Mainly vlog style videos, but every now and again we might put the camera down like this and just talk. But that's it. That's all we wanted to do for this video, guys. Thanks so much. And with that, I'll see you guys again very soon. You might see Jenny again very soon on my channel. Probably. She either sits in the background or right next to me taking part. So, one way or another, you'll see her again. But with that said, that's going to do it for this video, guys. We'll see you guys again very soon.
Bye.
Peace.